Hey Calgary, it's Justin Havre here. The first 3 months of 2025 are behind us, and the real estate market in our city is standing strong. From January to March, we saw more homes for sale, fewer buyers in a rush, and some welcome news about lower mortgage rates. You know what time it is? Let's recap what's changed, what stayed the same, and how it affects you as a buyer, seller, or investor. Here we go. First up, after the first quarter, Calgary is on track to hit over 26,000 sales on the MLS. So let's see how the rest of the year ends up. There could be a few curveballs. This, however, is 20% above long-term trends. But don't expect to see bidding wars on every block like we've seen for the past several years. 2025 is shaping up to be a more balanced, but yet very active market. In March, we saw a 19% drop in home sales compared to the same time last year. On paper, that might seem alarming, but let's break this down. We're coming off several red-hot years where homes were selling in days, often over asking price. Today's cooler market doesn't mean that the market is crashing. It means we're holding on to a more balanced and sustainable environment. Think of it as the market taking time to catch its breath. For buyers, this could be great news. You may have less offers competing against yours, more choices on inventory, and potentially more room to negotiate with the seller. If you're a first-time home buyer, that stability makes budgeting easier. For sellers, this means your strategy matters more than ever. In a shifting market, selling with confidence requires more than a for sale sign in the front yard. It requires an entire system. That's exactly why the Havre home selling system exists. It's a tested and proven approach that goes way beyond just listing a property. We have built strong relationships with exclusive vetted service providers to help you prep, price, market, and close your sale with confidence and ease. Homes are still moving, with over 2,100 sold this past March, but pricing, staging, timing are key. The benchmark price in Calgary is staying consistent again this month at around 592,500. Price growth is cooling. It's not crashing. Again, this means that the market is recalibrating itself and normalizing. Detached homes remain the gold standard in Calgary's real estate market, especially in the higher demand areas like the West End or City Centre. In March, the benchmark price climbed to 769,800, which is up 4% over last year. And if you're shopping for a detached home, you'll find more listings than last year, but the best price homes are still moving fast. So be ready to act quickly, especially in tight inventory brackets. Sellers, you're in a good spot. Values are holding strong, and the Havre home selling system can give your property the polish and the exposure it needs to stand out in a growing crowd of listings. In a pool of less buyers, you need to have the right strategies and the right marketing to stand out. Semi-detached homes saw the strongest year-over-year price growth, up by 5%, with a benchmark price of 691,900. However, sales dropped by 26%, indicating that buyers are weighing their options carefully in this segment. And buyers, you may have a little bit more leverage here in this segment. With more semi-detached home options on the market, you've got room to negotiate and even wait for the perfect fit, especially if you're upsizing from a condo. For sellers in this segment, strategy matters. Presentation, pricing, and timing will be key. Make sure that your realtor knows the importance of making the right first impression through expert staging, targeted marketing, and trusted service partners. Row homes are gaining traction as a just right solution between condo affordability and detached living space. Prices rose slightly to $454,000, and inventory jumped by more than 130%. Sales slowed, which is cooling the competition for buyers. Buyers, if you want the feel of a home without the detached price tag, this is your moment, especially for those targeting properties under $500,000 in growing suburbs like the Southeast and the Northeast. For sellers, there's more competition now, so maximizing your value means showing up well prepared. Now let's talk about apartments. This is the most volatile and opportunity-rich category right now here in the Calgary market. Apartment sales fell by 34%. Still, prices crept up to a modest $336,100. Inventory nearly doubled year over year. That pushed months of supply to over 3 months, which is, by the way, a balanced market, the most buyer-friendly of all property types here in the marketplace right now. So for first-time home buyers, this is your zone. With stabilizing prices, lower mortgage rates, and lots of options, now might be the time to explore home ownership without the pressure cooker that we've seen in recent years. Now, investors, this is where the numbers may start to work again. More inventory, more motivated sellers, growing long-term rental demand, especially downtown, makes this segment one to watch. Now, housing segment overview. What's clear from March is that we're not in a boom and we're not in a bust either. We're in a moment of opportunity for the ones who are prepared and choose to take action. So whether you're buying your first home, upgrading your home, investing, or looking to sell at maximum value, the key isn't just watching the market. It's working with a team who knows how to navigate it strategically, and that's where we come in. Want to know what your home is worth or how the Havre home selling system can set you up for success? Let's chat. Let's walk you through the full process from prep to possession so you can move forward with clarity and confidence with minimal stress. Now let's talk about rentals. After years of steady and sometimes shocking increases, Calgary rents are somewhat cooling off. The average rent is now $1,925 a month, which is 6% lower than this time last year. While the rents have declined, some segments are doing the opposite. Townhouses and duplexes actually increased by 17% year over year, averaging an astonishing $2,969 a month. Detached homes saw a 7% increase, now renting for around $3,364 a month. And apartments and condos were more stable, inching up by just 5.7%. Calgary's been on the front lines of creative solutions. New developments, faster construction timelines, and office to residential conversions have all added fresh inventory to the market. That's helping stabilizing things in a way that we haven't seen in other Canadian cities. What does this mean for you as an investor? It's not just about getting in the game, it's about getting into the right segment. Properties that offer space and flexibility, like duplexes or townhouses, are commanding premium rents right now and could offer better returns than high-rise condos in the short term. And when it comes to investing, it's all about holding that property long term. For those who are looking to get into the speculative game of buying pre-construction, you got to think, what does it look like in 5, 10, 15, or 20 years from now? For renters, you're getting more leverage. Take your time, compare listings, plan a future transition into home ownership if that is your goal. For investors, the rental landscape is nuanced. Some segments are thriving while others are cooling. Smart investing in 2025 means looking at value beyond the price tag. And for sellers and landlords, if you're thinking about offloading your rental property or converting a rental into a listing, we can help you evaluate the opportunity, prepare the home, market it strategically in a more competitive environment. And this is where the multi-million-dollar Havre home selling system comes into play, because again, it is about exposure for your listing, and we put your home in front of more potential buyers than anyone else in the marketplace. The result: more choice, more flexibility, and more breathing room for renters. And if you're renting now but hoping to buy later, this is a time to start thinking about getting your financial ducks in a row. With interest rates dropping and home prices leveling out, your path to home ownership might be closer than you think. Now let's dive into the latest interest rate updates. On March 12th, 2025, the Bank of Canada dropped the overnight lending rate to 2.75%. Its 7th consecutive cut in less than a year. This adjustment has made borrowing more affordable across the board, and it's starting to create its ripple effect. For buyers, lower interest rates is better mortgage affordability and gives you more buying power and lower monthly payments. 5-year fixed rate mortgage rates are now dipping below 4%. Some lenders are offering qualified buyers rates in the 3.79 range, and we can anticipate that we may have a little interest rate competitive environment between all the lenders getting into the spring market, so keep an eye out for that. And this is a dramatic improvement from 2023, where rates were soaring, monthly payments were pushing buyers out of the market entirely. Now, if you are someone who is looking at refinancing, we are anticipating that we will see the 5-year fixed rates, if that is a product that you are interested in getting into, will kind of sit in that mid threes, and that is considered a very favorable rate for those who are seeking to have stability. For sellers, falling interest rates create more momentum in the market overall. And as more buyers re-enter the playing field, demand begins to stabilize, even in a market with rising inventory. With borrowing costs easing and pricing growth moderating, 2025 is shaping up to be a window of opportunity for investors. Whether you're eyeing a multi-unit build, a value add flip, or a long-term hold in Calgary's growth corridors. Lower financial costs are improving cash flow projections and acquisition potential. And if you're carrying properties financed at higher interest rates, this could be a time to explore refinancing, repositioning, or even selling while the buyer demand is quietly returning. Now, to add to the interest rates in the Bank of Canada, obviously with all the trade wars that is going on here between Canada and the US, and perhaps the US and the entire world, it is about a 65% likelihood that we're going to see another interest rate drop here this month. Thing to keep an eye on as well is the bond market, because the bond market is what is connected to the fixed rate mortgage products. So again, if you are someone that is sitting in a variable interest rate, some people are taking the option now to lock into a fixed rate mortgage in the mid threes or to the high threes. So the first quarter of 2025 has all been about adjustments and recalibration. After several years of intense activity and rapid price growth, Calgary's real estate market is showing early signs of balance. That doesn't mean that the market is slow, far from it if you compare it to the historical averages, but it does mean both buyers and sellers might need to adjust expectations when it comes time to buy or sell. The main headline: sales are cooling slightly, listings are up, inventory is rising, and while home prices remain relatively stable or continue climbing depending on the segment, as there are many micro markets here in the marketplace. For buyers, it's good news. You have more inventory to choose from. You have more time to make decisions, and thanks to falling interest rates, better mortgage affordability. If you were sidelined last year, Q2 could be your moment to re-enter with stronger negotiating power, especially in the condo and townhome markets. Sellers, your home can still fetch great value, but strategy and marketing matters more than ever. With more listings competing for buyer attention, standing out is key. The Havre home selling system brings you the complete package, from prep, marketing, to negotiation and contract support. You sell with confidence and not second-rate strategies. For investors, falling interest rates means improved cash flow projections, and inventory growth means more flexibility in purchases. Certain segments, like semi-detached homes and rural properties, are seeing strong rental demand and steady price appreciation. If you're in for the long haul, Calgary continues to be a compelling play. As we move into spring and summer, here's what to watch. Interest rate trends, more cuts are projected here in 2025, which could reheat the demand in late Q2 or early Q3. Inventory levels, expect more listings, especially in the $500,000 to $800,000 range. Economic sentiment, tariff-related uncertainty weigh in on confidence, but Alberta's job market and in-migration remain tailwinds. The first few months of 2025 have shown us that Calgary's real estate market is shifting, but in a measured, thoughtful way. We're moving out of that high-speed, low-supply sprint and into a phase where strategy, timing, and the right guidance makes all the difference. Whether you're just starting your home search, thinking about selling your home, or exploring your next investment move, you're not in this alone. The market may be evolving, but so are the tools, the resources, and insights available to help you navigate with clarity and confidence. If you have questions about your neighborhood, your property value, or your options in today's market, let's connect. Reach out anytime. We're to help you make smart, empowering decisions every step of the way. Until next time, take care. We'll catch you in the next update. And remember, like and subscribe so you don't miss that next update. And you can always visit us online at justinhavre.com or even calgary.com, which has many language options as well if you want to search for properties in your language.